Hi guys, welcome to my channel Puzzle Out. So here in this channel I'll be dealing with engineering topics along with the prerequisites that are necessary for us to understand the topic in detail. This is my first video. Now let's start with the topic basic electronics. So what is electronics? Electronics is a branch of science that deals with the study of flow and control of electrons in various mediums and with devices using these electrons. Now let us try to make sense of what the definition says. Electrons usually are responsible for the flow of current. So electronics is a branch which deals with this flow of electrons in various mediums such as liquids, solids, gases, vacuum, etc. It also deals with various devices and how current flow is regulated in these devices. So this is what electronics actually mean. Now one common misconception is people getting confused between electrical and electronics. So let me I'll try to clear that also. Electrical is basically the flow of charges through a metal like a copper wire or something like that. Electronics on the other hand is dealing with the flow of charges through a non-metal like silicon. Okay. Also electronics has logic involved in it, whereas electrical necessarily need not have any kind of logic. Next, let us try to take a look at the applications of electronics. It is quite hard to imagine our life without electronic devices. Our day-to-day lives are dependent on it, in fact highly dependent on it. So let us take a look at few of these examples. The first one is communication. It is used in telephony, wireless communications, etc., in your mobile phones and stuff like that. The next one is in defense applications. These are used in radars, missiles, which are actually highly necessary for our country's safety. The next application is in automobiles and transmission. And the next one is in our daily life applications, which is in AC, computer, vacuum cleaner, refrigerator, stuff like that. The next application is in the health field. It is used for both diagnosis and treatment. Along with this, it is also used in research nowadays. The next application would be in the field of industrial applications. Now our next topic is basic electronic circuit devices. The first one is our diode. The diode has the word di in the beginning, which indicates 2. So it has two terminals, positive and a negative terminal. The positive terminal is called an anode and the negative terminal is called a cathode. So the main function of a diode is it conducts electricity or current only in one direction and restricts the flow of current in the other direction. This is the main and primary function of a diode. It conducts electricity in one direction and restricts it in the other direction. It is a very important circuit device and has many applications. We'll be looking at them in next coming videos. The next device is a transistor. A transistor is a semiconductor device. It is used to amplify or switch electronic signals or electrical power. So it has two main operations, which is amplification and switching. So these transistors are again classified. So I'm gonna talk about two important transistors, which is a BJT, which is bipolar junction transistor, and a MOS field effect transistor. So I'll be talking more about BJT and MOSFET in the coming videos. The next device is an operational amplifier. So an op-amp is an integrated circuit or an IC which operates as a voltage amplifier. So amplifier is a device which increases the amplitude of the voltage, which is the input voltage. So in this we can see two terminals, inverting and this is negative, this is positive, negative and positive. So we have two terminals, inverting and non-inverting. So the inputs are supplied here at V plus and V minus, and we get the output as V out, which is the amplified output. The next component, which is a very basic component. A resistor usually passes current in proportion to voltage and opposes the excess current. It is represented as follows. The next one is the capacitor. A capacitor is a electrical device which stores electrical charge and then releases in times of need. Now, one important prerequisite before diving into complex electronic topics is to know about semiconductors. So, semiconductors is a material that has a resistance level between those of a conductor and an insulator. We know that materials are usually divided as conductors, insulators, and semiconductors, where conductors have the maximum conductivity and insulators do not allow the flow of current through them. Semiconductors are those which partially allow current between these substances. So then why are we using semiconductors and not conductors? In the case of conductors, we cannot restrict the flow of current in any form, whereas in semiconductors, current can be restricted. These semiconductors are again classified as extrinsic semiconductors and intrinsic semiconductors. Extrinsic semiconductors are impure semiconductors, that is, some other element is added to these extrinsic semiconductors. In the case of intrinsic semiconductors, it is pure semiconductors. So again, extrinsic semiconductors are classified into two categories based on their doping. It is classified as p-type and n-type. So what is doping? Doping is the process of adding an impurity which is either a third group or fifth group element to the pure semiconductor. And then why are we doing this? We are doing this to increase the electrical conductivity of the semiconductor. The next, so let us learn about intrinsic semiconductors. So as I told before, intrinsic semiconductors are the pure form of semiconductors. Here the number of electrons and the number of holes are equal. The number of holes usually depict the vacancy of electrons, and number of electrons is the amount of free electrons that are present in the valency shell. Now it has very low electrical conductivity as it is pure in form. So looking at the diagram, silicon has 4 free electrons in its valency shell. So when it combines with other silicon atoms, they form covalent bonds. These are covalent bonds, and there are free electrons available. So this is how an intrinsic semiconductor looks like. I'm gonna erase it. The next one is the extrinsic semiconductor. These are doped, which is an impurity is added in order to make it more electrically conductive. Here the electrons and holes depend on the doping of the semiconductor. It is doped as either as p-type or n-type. So first the p-type. In p-type semiconductors, a trivalent impurity is doped, which is barium, gallium, indium, and aluminium. These are doped in extremely small contents with pure semiconductor, and we get a arrangement as such, as shown in the figure here. Here boron is trivalent, and silicon is having 4 electrons in its valency shell, so it forms covalent bonds. But here we have a hole, which is the absence of an electron. So here holes are the majority charge carriers than electrons. Type is the n-type semiconductors. In these semiconductors, pentavalent impurities are added. So it has 5 electrons in its valency shell. Some of the examples are phosphorus and arsenic. So majority charge carriers here are electrons, because phosphorus has 5 valency electrons, and an electron would be left here after forming covalent bonds with silicon. So holes would be minority charge carriers for n-type, and majority charge carriers would be electrons for n-type. Thank you.